Welcome to the fifth step of our video world tour of biotech ecosystems. After France, Boston, Germany and Ireland, we are now traveling through the leading biotech ecosystem in Europe, the United Kingdom.
During 10 days, we traveled all across the UK from London to Edinburgh to meet with more than 15 CEOs. We met the awarded Best Entrepreneur in the UK, the success story from Cambridge, amazing new startups, and even the leading Scotland-based biotech investor.
Within the next minutes, we will give you a representative view of this leading biotech industry. So sit back and enjoy. Hello, we just landed in London 2 hours ago. We rented a car and came directly to Stevenage. We are here in front of the Stevenage Bioscience Catalyst on the huge GSK site. We are going to visit two great companies today, Puridify and Plasticell. Looking forward to meet them.
Philip, welcome to the Stevenage Bioscience Catalyst. This is where Puridify is based. We've been here for just over a year now, and we're a venture-backed bioprocessing company developing new purification technologies for biologics manufacturing.
Where is Puridify from and why you came here?
Yeah, so we spun out from University College London approximately 2 years ago, and the technology was developed there originally by myself and some colleagues who were at the university doing doctoral projects. We've moved up to the SBC because we won the One Start competition, which was run by Oxford Biotech Roundtable and SR1, and that gave us 6 months free lab space here. But obviously now we're past that, and we're really happy to be located here. It's a great site, 20 minutes from central London, across the road from GSK, and that really allows us to have multiple collaborations with them. But also it's the number of small companies that are based here, and that interaction with different entrepreneurs and allows us to sort of get different ideas from different people.
Hello, welcome. I'm Yen. I work for Progenitor Labs. It's a company that discovers drugs that regenerate cells of the body in response to injury or aging. So the body obviously contains stem cells that maintain all the organs of the body, and sometimes in response to injury, these stem cells are activated and they repair the tissue. And what we're doing here is to find drugs that can kickstart the repairing process and regenerate organs, particularly in serious disease.
Okay. And so, yeah, can you tell me a bit more about why you're here, and maybe also like how did you see the evolution of this site? As you told me,
yeah. So one of the reasons we're here is that we work closely with GSK, who have an interest in regenerative medicine, and our company brings pretty deep stem cell expertise and does the biology. From GSK's part, they contribute drug libraries, which we use to screen in order to find new drugs that can stimulate the stem cells. So one of the reasons that we're here is that we're close to our colleagues at GSK and can collaborate more effectively. We can use all the resources of the organization as well in terms of machinery, equipment and so on. Further reason is that we're actually financed by the venture capital wing of GSK. And the third reason is because it's just a nice place to be here.
Hello Philip, welcome to the SBC and welcome by myself. I'm Premaitha. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer for Magdi. Magdi is a small startup biotech company. We've been one of the first biotechs in here at the Stevenage Catalyst, and we're a small company interested in looking at the effects of weak electromagnetic fields on cells and seeing what happens with cells when they interact with the weak electromagnetic fields that are in our environment.
Yeah, and can you tell me more about why you're here at the SBC?
So we're here, we were attracted to the site at the SBC because of its locality. We're here on the campus with GSK right behind us, and we're here at the beginning of a new ecosystem of small biotech startups, which gives us access to some of the best resources in the UK.
Yeah. Can you kind of enlarge also and place Stevenage in the global UK biotech ecosystem?
So if you look at the southern part of the UK biotech centre, you'd think that we were based mainly in Cambridge, which is to the northeast of us. We're in Oxford, which is directly to the west, and to the south of us we have London. So Stevenage is right at the heart of the UK southern biotech sector. So we have access to the universities at Cambridge and Oxford, and also at London, and the biotech industry which surrounds that. We have GSK here at Stevenage, and we have some of the other biotechs around the Cambridge area and the Oxford area which are accessible to us.
So welcome to London, the capital of United Kingdom and a famous place for financial industry. Like you can see behind me, there is the City of London. But London is also a great place for university. There is UCL and Imperial College in London, and also for biotech industry. Now we'll go to visit 2 startups and MedCity, the cluster of London. So we have to go to be there on time.
Welcome to Desktop Genetics. So we're building our software platform for genome editing. And I can tell you a little bit more about how we were founded and sort of how we came to be. My co-founders, Eddie, Victor, and I met on the Masters in Bioscience Enterprise course at Cambridge. And we're all very interested in synthetic biology and the application of sort of, web technologies to the biotech industry to make it more efficient. And so we entered the university's business plan competition where we won the Life Science Startup of the Year award. And from that, we needed to go and incorporate the company to claim the prize money, and so that's really how we came to be founded in August of 2012.
Okay. And how did you fit in this ecosystem of synthetic biology in UK?
Yeah, so the synthetic biology ecosystem in the UK is smaller than the one, say, in Boston, for example, but it's still quite diverse. And so we went with a sort of software-oriented approach, whereas other people have focused more on industrial chemicals or algae or other sort of aspects of it. And I think we're similar to some companies that we all sort of were very passionate about the field, but we all felt that there were sort of different areas that could be improved. And so we sort of all know each other. It's a very tight-knit community, I would say. And I think there's a lot of sort of synergy between the companies, right? You want to try and build up as much of a cluster as possible.
Welcome to Queen Mary Bioenterprises. We're standing here in the foyer of the largest purpose-built incubator in London at present.
Okay, so can you tell me more about this incubator?
Yeah, we are completed in 2009, we're full in 2013. We're the largest incubator, about 40,000 square feet. There are 2 other incubators in London. One is at the Royal Veterinary College in Camden. This is about 20,000 square feet, half our size, and the other one is Imperial College, South Kensington Incubator, again about 20,000 square feet.
Okay. And what about the place of London in the Golden Triangle of UK?
In the Golden Triangle, first of all, the Golden Triangle is Oxford, Cambridge, London. We have in London about 70 biotech and clinical science startups. Cambridge has over 250 and Oxford circa 70.
Hi.
Welcome, Joachim, to Biomoti and right here at the Blizzard Institute of Queen Mary, University of London.
So what are you doing in Biomoti?
So Biomoti is developing anti-cancer therapies and targeted anti-cancer therapies. So we developed a way to target drugs to the tumor cells and not healthy tissue.
Okay. And how did you come here in this center?
Well, actually, Biomoti technology was developed within the Blizzard Institute. So it's based on research we've done right here in the laboratories. And we've now taken this into a company and we're looking at developing it for clinical applications.
So London is a really great place for biotech companies because there are access to a whole range of incubation sites. There's access to excellent academic centres with some of the world-leading biomedical research universities within London. And also the NHS has over 8 million patients registered within Greater London, and over a third of those were born outside of the UK. So there is fantastic genetic and ethnic diversity in the patient base, which with the academic base provides a really excellent resource in terms of the ability to conduct clinical trials and also working in collaboration with the academic centres to be able to work with patient groups and with tissue banks, etc.
We are now on the campus of University of Oxford, one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in Europe. Oxford is also a big biocluster, one of the biggest in the UK, and is part of the Golden Triangle. It is home of many great biotech companies, as for example Circassia, which raised over £200 million last year in its IPO, which is the biggest IPO in Europe. We are now bringing you to two great biotech companies. Let's go.
Welcome to Karus.
Thanks. Can you tell me more about what Karus is doing?
We're a company that's set up to design and develop new small molecules for the treatment of cancers and inflammatory diseases. And we've built the company around two particular programs, a PI3 kinase inhibitor and HDAC inhibitor. And we're here based in Oxford, and we're doing our own chemistry and biology, and we're pushing towards getting these programs in the clinic.
Great. And can you tell me more about the environment here in Oxford and how Karus fits in this environment?
Well, Oxford itself is a major biotech hub within UK and Europe. So you've got the major university, of course, at Oxford. You've got a number of high-profile hospitals like the John Radcliffe up in Oxford. And also you've got a number of science parks, of which Milton Park is the largest. And Milton Park houses a number of different innovative biotech companies like ourselves, doing research and development of new medicines, medtech companies, but also advisors, CROs, bigger companies like Amgen are based here too. So it's a real infrastructure, a real ecosystem of companies that are working directly in the life science field. And of course Oxford is one part of the kind of southeast of England super hub of biotech companies which rivals Boston and the Bay Area in terms of its size and employs a number of companies. So we're part of both a local infrastructure here at Milton Park, a larger hub here within Oxford, and a much larger hub within the southeast of England.
Welcome to Brainomix. We are a startup of the University of Oxford, and we have developed the medical imaging software eAspects. eAspects is designed to improve the diagnosis and treatment of stroke patients. We have been fortunate to be part of the Oxford University IC Software Incubator. The incubator provides access to the Oxford ecosystem, and this has strengthened a lot our innovation, as we expect that eAspect is going to have a lot of impact in stroke clinical care. Our value was demonstrated recently, as were the winners on the ICT category of the ACES Award, which is the European Award of University Startups.
Welcome to our fourth day in the UK. After visiting Oxford, we're visiting the second oldest university of UK, Cambridge. Cambridge is really active in biotech. It's the biggest biocluster in UK and a leading one in Europe. As proof, AstraZeneca is moving all its R&D facilities from UK to Cambridge. We are now visiting 5 great biotech companies, and we have an intense program, so let's go now.
Hi Joachim, welcome to Abcam. We're providing hundreds of thousands of products to life scientists around the world for their work in life science research and advancing the understanding of disease.
So where do you come from?
Our company was founded by a postdoc named Jonathan Milner in 1998 as a spin-out from Cambridge University. He was working on a number of things where he needed antibodies, and he thought he didn't quite have what he wanted, so he started a company to deliver what he was looking for.
And how do you fit in this ecosystem of UK biotech?
It's a really good question. We're at the very start of what UK biotech is doing. So when scientists are trying to understand disease, they need tools to help them identify what's happening inside a cell, and we provide them with those tools. So we're providing for every life science university researcher, and also for biotech and pharma across the UK, the tools they need to study disease and life science activities.
And your innovation, how do you innovate in this technology?
We rely on a lot of collaborations. So we're working with individual researchers and labs to help us make sure we validated our products appropriately, and for them also to tell us where science is going so that we can introduce products that they need for the future of science. So we have informal collaborations with individual researchers, and we have more formal collaborations with institutions like the Laboratory of Molecular Biology at the MRC.
Welcome to Horizon Discovery Group. We're an international life sciences group supplying products, services and research programs to companies engaged in genomics research and the discovery and development of personalized medicines.
How Horizon is interacting with other companies in Cambridge and UK?
So Horizon's an important part of the UK life sciences ecosystem. First, as an exemplar of how you can bring a company from intellectual property concept to the public markets in 6 years and 1 day. And that itself, Horizon came into existence because of the link with other companies in the ecosystem. So the success of Abcam down the road here on the Cambridge Science Park and their founder, Jonathan Milner, was the reason why Horizon got funded initially, and he's the biggest single investor in Horizon. So the success of Abcam has led to the development of Horizon. And the founders of Horizon are now investing in tens and 20s of new companies through government-targeted tax reliefs that mean that we're increasing the funnel of companies that are around in the ecosystem.
Welcome to Discover. At Discover we're making new antibiotics. We're discovering them using a very powerful technology which uses high-throughput genetics, high-throughput sequencing, and extremely complicated bioinformatics analysis to identify new antibiotics that we take through chemistry to the market. Cambridge was a fantastic place for us to set up our company because Cambridge has the university and the infrastructure based around next generation sequencing technologies. We have the Sanger Centre for sequencing expertise. We have the EBI Institute for Bioinformatics expertise. But we also have a huge collection of ex-pharma people in the area that we can bring into our company as consultants and employees. So it's probably the most ideal place in the UK, certainly in the world, to set up this sort of company.
Now let's continue our Cambridge tour with the Birmingham campus. We're going to visit 2 companies, the public listed AstraZeneca and the startup Eurosense.
Hi, welcome to AstraZeneca. Here at AstraZeneca, through our 2 businesses, Antidote and Polytherics, we're providing services and technologies to our partners, and those partners, as they develop their biopharmaceuticals, are looking to answer questions such as the immunogenicity assessment of their products, cell line development and protein engineering to de-immunize those products, and then we can use our ThioBridge technology to produce antibody-drug conjugates, more stable, more homogeneous ADCs for them. Here within AstraZeneca, we work closely with other members of the UK Life Sciences cluster, great on the Birmingham Research Campus to collaborate with academics in the Birmingham Institute. We also work with our major pharma neighbours at AstraZeneca MedImmune.
Welcome to Eurosense. Eurosense was formed to take advantage of a marker that was identified from Cancer Research UK called MCM5, and we are using that to build a diagnostic test for bladder and prostate cancer from a urine sample.
Okay. And how your company is interacting with the UK ecosystem?
So we have an extensive reach through the UK. We are funded by venture capitalists both in London, in Oxford and up in Newcastle, and as such we have research facilities based at the Birmingham here in Cambridge where we're sitting, but also we have expanded our laboratory following our recent funding round and are opening a development laboratory up in Sunderland. So the advantage of being in Cambridge is the access to a diverse range of research scientists. We're close to London and we're close to all the facilities we need to grow the business. Having access to Sunderland is also important because as we grow, there's a rich talent pool up there. We have access to manufacturing links through North East, and that will help us to grow the business and bring products to the market.
Before going north to Birmingham, we got some rest in London. We explored the trendy district of Shoreditch and finished with the admissible activity, having pints in British pubs.
Welcome to Birmingham, the 2nd largest city in the UK. Wonderful weather today, it's a huge snowstorm and it's really cold. We didn't came only for the weather. Birmingham has also an emerging biotech ecosystem that we're going to visit right now.
We're also surrounded by a fantastic MedTech cluster, which includes the University of Birmingham, the QE Hospital, which is one of the UK's large teaching hospitals, blood and transplant unit next door, and a new Institute of Translational Medicine. So we really are in a perfect place for a biomedical startup company. So we're really excited about this. We want to put the West Midlands Life Science Zone on the map, as it were, of the UK. for companies who are really successful, we're now expanding our life sciences campus just half a mile up the road as well. So we really are an expanding biotech cluster here. And we're really grateful for the funding, and we're about to open tomorrow. So please come and have a look.
Welcome to the Binding Site. Pleasure to have you here in Birmingham. We make blood tests, so we're a diagnostics company, in vitro diagnostics. So we provide the tests that are used in laboratories and hospitals around the world. Predominantly our aims are in multiple myeloma, which is blood cancer, or a blood cancer, a deadly blood cancer, and about 1% of all cancers. And also in specialist immunology testing for things like primary immune deficiency, secondary immune deficiency, vaccine response, that sort of thing.
Great. And can you tell me a bit more about how you fit in this whole UK biotech ecosystem and further?
Sure. Yes. We've been based in Birmingham since we were founded over 25 years ago, and predominantly, obviously, we sold a lot in the UK to start with. But in essence, we then went out into the States and into Germany, especially as our first two markets outside the UK. And we now have a great presence in those two markets, but elsewhere too. We actually manufacture and sell almost 92% of our product goes outside the UK. So we do treat ourselves as very much a global entity. But that means that we also have our roots here in Birmingham and with other diagnostic companies that we know of in the UK, who we interact with through the diagnostics associations, as well as with the European Diagnostic Manufacturers Association, and further beyond that into the US too.
One city wasn't enough today, so we drove up north to Manchester, and we are now in the Manchester Science Park with a wonderful sun, and we're going to visit one of their flagship companies.
Welcome to Premaitha.
Can you tell me what Premaitha is doing?
Absolutely. Premaitha, we're a molecular diagnostics business. We take the latest advances in DNA-based analysis technology, and we apply that to practical problems to make tests, real-world useful molecular diagnostic tests that can be used on patients and people around the world.
Great. And can you tell me more about how you interact with the Manchester biotech ecosystem and the whole UK?
Yes. Premaitha is based in Manchester, and the reason Premaitha is based in Manchester is that we believe that for the type of science we are doing, which is development of molecular diagnostic products, Manchester isn't just the best place in the UK to do this type of science, it's the best place in Europe. When I started the business, it was based in Cambridge, interesting place to work, but I felt that we would be better served by closing that business down and relocating to Manchester. And that was to take advantage of the real depth of talent and experience and knowledge of the scientists which are based within this area. So it's a fairly specialised field, but if you want to be in this field, this is the place to be.
We finished covering England, and we are now moving to Scotland. On our way to Glasgow, we took a detour to discover the magnificent Lake District National Park.
Hi, welcome to Tissue Solutions. We basically are like a virtual biobank. We supply ethically acquired human tissue and biofluids to our clients for research use. So we're working with biotech, pharma companies and CROs worldwide, supplying diseased and normal tissues, bloods, for a whole range of assays across the drug discovery pipeline.
Okay. And can you tell me more about the cluster of Glasgow?
Okay, in terms of Glasgow, the companies that we're working with here are probably reflective of the companies we work with within the UK and also within the world globally. So a lot of them tend to be in Glasgow sort of contract research organisations. So companies are subcontracting work to them and we're supplying tissues for them to do that work. Now that might be assay validation work, it might be screening. There's a whole range of different types of activities that you can actually use the tissue for.
Last day of our tour, welcome to Edinburgh, capital of Scotland. The city is built on volcanic hills and home of a famous university excelling in biology and synthetic biology. Let's discover the ecosystem now.
Good morning and welcome to Epiderics Capital. We are one of the most active early stage life science investors in the UK. We believe passionately in filling the equity funding gap between seed stage and growth stage funding of early stage life science companies.
What do you think of the biotech ecosystem in the UK?
I think it's very strong. I think the UK is one of the best places to be doing early stage life science investing. We have the benefit of non-dilutive support from several sources. We have at least 5 or 6 world-class research universities with very strong tech transfer offices with which we work very closely. There's then some growth financing available to come in after our investment or to syndicate with us as we lead early stage rounds. So generally speaking, the UK we think is very strong, and we think Scotland in particular has some specific strengths that are very advantageous to us here. I think the UK is probably the strongest investment market at this time. You have at least half a dozen early stage life science venture funds that are actively deploying risk capital across the UK in a way that there is probably less of in other EU markets at this time. You also have the advantage of a public market based in London that is beginning to open up to the sector. So you actually have, for the first time in several years, you have potentially a public market exit for some portfolio companies.
Hello and welcome to Edinburgh BioQuarter. Edinburgh BioQuarter is an academic medical campus with a focus on interdisciplinary research and translational medicine. Scotland has a long and well-known history in relation to innovation, scientific research and achievement. To name but a couple, penicillin, Dolly the sheep, and BioQuarter, as with a number of other science parks and innovation centres that we have across the country, really is building on that history. It's capitalising on the high quality of our academic researchers and our clinicians to continue leading the world in healthcare research and innovation.
Hi, welcome to Brainomix. We're a synthetic biology company founded in 2010, and we create promoters, which are sequences of DNA that we use to regulate genes in very specific circumstances, so in a specific time, a specific environment, a specific condition. And we can do that for all organisms, from human cells to yeast to plants or whatever.
Okay. And what did you choose Edinburgh and Scotland?
Mainly because of the support supplied by Scottish Enterprise, who really help small companies grow into large organisations. So we received a lot of support from Scottish Enterprise in order to grow the business through the high growth startup unit. Also because the synthetic biology community within the academic sector here is very strong.
Hey, still with us? That's lovely. I hope you enjoyed following us through the UK through this really exciting and dynamic biotech ecosystem.
UK is composed of different bioclusters. Among them, Cambridge is a super biocluster competing with Paris or Munich in Germany. In each biocluster there is exciting companies, and all together they are leading part of the biotech ecosystem in Europe.
Again, thanks for following us, and see you on the next step of our world tour. Now, let's have some Scottish whiskey.